Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, pardon me. I didn't see you. I was just reading my book. Welcome back to Gale Reacts to Season 4 of Miraculous at an incredibly slow snail's pace. We are here today with the episode Qilin. So the episode description is, because of one of Marinette's careless mistakes, one of her closest relatives is akumatized into Qilin, a fearsome supervillain. Will Ladybug dare to fight her? The answer will probably be yes. And I'm assuming this is her mom, because we had that one episode where her whole family came together and fought her, and the only one who was akumatized into a villain that we hadn't seen before was her mom, and it was something fairly Chinese in origin in terms of design. So I am assuming that that is what this episode is about, being the origin story for that particular akumatization. So placing it before the family episode. Now, like I said, I'm aware that the episodes are out of order, and I'm kind of going in just accepting what comes my way first, because that's just the experience that we're getting. Not anybody's fault, particularly in terms of like the writer's side or creator, more production. It is kind of weird that this is the episode. I believe we possibly have one more episode before the finale. I know that there's a 2-part finale, and then I also know that there's Kuroneko, which I believe is not part of the finale. I think it's its own episode. I'm not quite clear on it because I didn't want spoilers, so I haven't clicked on anything that has to do with either. But I think there's one called Strikers, and there's another one or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I've been trying to keep myself spoiler free, which means I don't have a lot of information about the next sequence of events that are about to occur. But it's weird that this is going to be the episode before basically the string of the finale episodes, because let's be fair. If you're giving an episode the name Kuroneko, it's probably, it better be a big episode. Ladybug was supposed to be a big episode, and it technically was. So Kuroneko, Black Cat, should be a big episode as well. This is kind of the last normal episode I'm anticipating for this season. The last one that won't have any big, dramatic changes or secrets or events or, time travel or whatever is going to happen that makes everything revert back to normal again. So I don't anticipate much going into this episode. I don't anticipate anything special in this episode, which is sad to say, but the amount of quality, storytelling that has been in the previous episodes versus this one makes me just not excited for it. So here's Qilin. So this was the worst police violence PSA I think I've ever seen. Alright, before we talk about anything, first off, pronunciation is Qilin. Qilin is the name, which definitely I would not have guessed. So I apologize for every time I have said Qilin, Quilin, Villain, whatever else I have said instead of Qilin. Apparently that is the pronunciation that is correct, and I will endeavor to use that in the future. Second, this episode had the most contrived reason for a person to be akumatized that it hurt. It physically hurt. It was like a perfect storm of Sabine being on the bus and Marinette being like, hey, I'm gonna take your money to buy you a gift for Mother's Day at a bus stop because I'm so sure that I can go buy you a gift and come back in time to get on the bus again, which I've never anyone who's used the bus, can you confirm? Like, I know in my area, the bus goes like that. There is no time to get off and on. But then also, you know, oh, I'm taking your entire wallet with the tickets and your ID, and that's totally fine. And then Sabine gets off at the next stop and just happens to run into a guy who's checking bus tickets randomly after people have already been on the bus, which makes me question why you check your tickets at the beginning of the bus ride, like she did, if you're going to be checked again getting off randomly, because that implies the existence of either the bus driver, like, allowing people on illegally, and just accepting that, or it means they have some sort of, like, dual system where some counterfeit bus tickets are allowed on, but they can check if they're counterfeit, like, getting off or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just a random thing that they're doing. But either way, that was stupid. And then they get to a dude who actually knows her, and he's like, yeah, she does have a daughter, but, like, we can't wait for that daughter because, I don't know, justice doesn't wait 5 seconds or 2 minutes, or hey, there's a phone call and he's just like, yep, you know what, I'm going to accept you taking this woman's bag and handing it to me because a phone went off. Like, there was so much escalation of ridiculous. These are the worst police officers ever. And Roger has continuously been the worst police officer ever. But it just makes me laugh that a show that is a superhero show, which is traditionally, not always, again, but traditionally a genre that likes to play around with lawlessness and you know, well, the police are good, but vigilante's good, and the balance between, you know, law and upholding law and humanity and blah, blah, blah. You know, this stuff is played around in superhero shows all the time. But it's funny to me that Miraculous's take is just that the police are just awful. They're just the worst. Do not trust the police. Silly 9-year-old kids, if you see a police officer, freaking, he's the worst. And he's a scumbag, especially he's got pointy features, like a thin face. Those characters tend to be evil. Very evil. So, you know, just, if you see any police officers like that, man. And, you know, it also kind of had a weird, like, it wasn't purposeful, but it did have a weird kind of, like, racism subtext of, like, the only person here who is getting questioned continuously was a very clear-cut Chinese woman. Don't really know what the message of this episode was supposed to be other than cops be racist. But, you know, getting around all that small stuff, you know, all the small things that definitely don't have real world implications, especially in this day and age, the episode was just kind of silly. It was like, oh, Marinette made such a big mistake, but no, 90% of what happened was because the cops escalated from 0 to 100 immediately. Like, not even a single, like, they couldn't even get off on the stop where Marinette was gonna meet them up. He was like, no, we'll wait till the next stop. That's how random escalation-y this situation got with these cops. So I don't see why Marinette thinks she's to blame at all. Like, I get she got off and she took all the important things and she's like, gosh, that was stupid, but like, that's a stupid mistake, not a, oh my god, like I caused a whole incident mistake. Like, that's the police's fault. It is. And even at the end they were trying to mix it up and be like, oh, but I'll pay the fine because it was my fault. And it's like, no, this went way further than it should have because of poor public servants. But that was weird. The fighting her, the fact that they were like, oh, a laser gun to shoot a hole, or to cover a manhole cover so we could take Roger. Like, Why couldn't he just use the normal manhole cover? I mean, I guess he can't see through it, but like, I don't know, that felt random. So yeah, overall, you know, the episode itself, it was just so weird. It was just so tonally weird. And like, I can't say that anything was really bad with it. Just, especially with how the world is currently, which I'm guessing was the focus for like the reason behind they made the episode like it is. It just was totally weird. But I can say, Sabine, pretty dang awesome in this episode. The fact that she could predict the future, because that's all I can say. Like, she has a superpower to predict the future, is what I got out of this episode. There's no way she knows how to do all of this stuff and know everything and not predict the future a tiny bit. She's got that Raven, like, I can see the future powers. So that's my take on it. That's my very cohesive, very in-depth take on this. Definitely a 15-minute video worth topic about a cartoon. It's just so weird. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. The next couple episodes, whenever they decide to come out, I'm certainly looking forward to watching them. But yeah, we're hitting the end game. We're hitting the end game of season 4. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to do a season review of all the things that have happened, all the concepts we've come across, all the characters we've learned to definitely love and not hate. So I will see you guys in the next couple episodes. Bye-bye!
Hi there, it's the end of the video, my friend. Hit the bell if it was okay, I'm sure I'll make good content someday. I'll play some games or do some drawing, Pokemon and fights with darling, video essays and reviews. I couldn't do it without you, so thanks, like and subscribe.